What do you think is like a good question? Because you talk to new clients, new people that you work with every once in a while. What's a good question that you ask them that kind of immediately shifts how they see themselves as a leader?
Mhm. It's a simple question,
Mm.
but I think it's an important one as well because we've all had different stages of our career. So the question is, when you think back in your earlier career,
Hmm.
who had the greatest impact on you, and what qualities made them so effective or so inspirational? And I find that often when people are reflecting on this, they don't reflect on the title or the seniority or the power of this person. They actually start reflecting on the trust, the relationship, the clarity, the presence that that person had, the way that they made them feel. And then oftentimes these people will realize that they have a lot of these qualities already inside of them, but it's really about kind of how they want to project them in their own leadership style. It also made me reflect as well. Um, One of my mentors early in my career explained to me very explicitly about the difference between a manager and a leader.
Mm.
And he said, a manager, more or less a micromanager, is somebody who demands respect.
Mm.
But a leader is somebody who will actually earn your respect. And it's a two-way relationship. And then once that mutual respect is earned, they will essentially create an environment for you to grow.
Mm.
And if you compare those two back to back, I think between the question of like thinking about someone in your life who had this, inspirational kind of mentorship or leadership for you in tandem with thinking about the difference between a manager and a leader, that really shifts the perspective on what it means to be a leader and the way that people view it.
Yeah, I think yeah, that's super interesting, and I feel like every high achiever has had someone in their lives like believe in them and like
Mm.
mentor them or like give them opportunities, and then it's like you're flipping it by saying, like, well, have you done that for your own team? Like, have you given your own team the same opportunities that people have given you for you to be able to thrive, right? And so imagine if you did that to your team, they would all thrive, and so yeah, I think it's a good way of like explaining it. It's interesting. Thanks. Yeah, and I guess like I think people can like kind of going back a little bit to the burnout question and the hustle, and it's kind of a healthy thing to passionately work hard at something you care about, right? But then there is a fine line of like overextending yourself or kind of going too far, right? And so
Hmm.
what do you feel is that line between like a healthy amount of ambition and
Hmm.
where it becomes like harmful?
I think hopefully this is not too woo woo for your audience, but but I think something that we touched on just a little bit before. I think it comes back to what's driving us. So the woo woo side here is, are we being driven and living with a scarcity mindset or an abundance mindset? And so in the scarcity mindset, what's driving us is this fear, this urgency, this ego.
Mhm.
If we're in the abundance mindset, we're driving from a place of passion, of longevity, of growing something over time, right? And I think those are probably two extreme examples, right? Even someone who's super passionate about the topic, not every single day is like sunshine and rainbows and like, a choir in the background.
Yeah.
Um, but I think those two drivers as this kind of, continuum, they make a big difference. And if you are coming from a place of scarcity and ego and fear, excuse me, and urgency, this will show. And I mean, in both sides, essentially, whether you're coming from fear or coming from passion, this is going to manifest in the quality of decisions that you make and the types of decisions that you make, and probably reflecting the experience that you have as you're building and growing your business.
Hmm. Okay. Yeah, I think that's a lot to reflect on. Jeez. Feel like we need like more sessions to go unpack all of this, and yeah, all this woo woo. No, this is good. I think it's the right amount of woo woo to kind of make us think. And actually, maybe let's just talk about your specific business, like how it works here, because like to some extent, like how would people even get involved? Like how is it like a business coaching thing? Does it run through the company? Is it you're really just coaching the CEO? Is it a one-time session, 3-session package, monthly thing? I don't know. I have so many things I could ask you. How does it work? You're like,
Sure, all great questions. Let me demystify coaching. Some people are much more familiar with coaching, others are not. So I think in terms of my business, I do both one-to-one coaching work and I also do work with organizations as well.
Okay.
And a lot of the topics, I mean, there's crossover, but a lot of the topics are going to be on, discovering one's values, something that we just talked about, discovering how to be more value driven or executive presence, presentation skills, problem solving skills. There's a lot here in terms of one to one. Well, even with organizations, every engagement is going to look different, right? Because it's custom to that person and what they're trying to achieve. So with an individual, I've worked with individuals on creating better executive presence and presentation, determining what move they should make next, whether they should up level or switch industry. Some people going from corporate into entrepreneurship. There's a lot of these major pivots in one's life that are very identity focused and value focused. And so having a coach along the journey is very helpful.